Hello, boys and girls. Welcome and good morning. We are introducing for maybe the first time ever a daily, we're going to try to make it daily, morning show, daily show, whatever you want to call it, for Cook, Feed, and Outdoor. We are going to try to update different things that are going on around Oklahoma. We're going to try to update daily things about animals. And if we can correlate this to our business, whether it be animal nutrition or whatever, anything like that, we would love to do that. Make it a helpful and educational type of thing. We will try and do that. But this is April the 6th, going to try and make as long of a streak as possible of a daily morning show. On today's news, we are going to talk about equine rescues. Equine rescues news for today was a spotlight that actually ABC News did on a local rescue here around us called Nexus Equine Rescue. Nexus is actually a customer of ours, so this perfectly correlates to our business. Nexus Equine Rescue had a spotlight done on them recently, talking about the issues and the abandonment that happens when the oil field crashes. And so we saw this same exact thing in maybe 2011, 2010, something like that, when the oil field really took a dip around the local Oklahoma market. And when the oil field takes a dip around a place, it really hurts the animal industry. And what ABC News did the article about was how places that have a very high population of oil field workers and oil field in the oil field, people in the oil field industry, that it typically correlates with people having a lot of animals in that same area. And what's interesting about that is I think that oil is drilled on places that, or in states that have a lot of land. And so why that correlates is states that have a lot of land and drilling, also those same states have a lot of land for animals and livestock. But they did a article about how when the oil field takes a dip, also there's a influx of abandonment in horses that are starving. We've seen this, like I said, in 2011 timeframe, 2010, 11, 12, somewhere in there. It wasn't the 0809 recession or whatever you might call it. This was the dip that kind of happened after that. The same year, if you remember, we had a lot of really, really high temperatures. It was a terrible hay year. We couldn't find hay anywhere. We actually had shipped in hay from Canada that entire year. So this article was about that, how the oil field crash affects those rescues and how the oil field crashes affect animals and livestock in a large majority of the ways when these oil field crashes happen. Nexus, it went on to say, was one of the first people to accept horses in any condition. Of course, that is what a lot of rescues do. You see different rescues. We have several rescues that buy from us. You see a lot of rescues that have certain niches or niches, whatever you want to call it. And so there's a lot of rescues that will do, specific industries. So there'll be like a racehorse rescue. There's several rescues that work strictly with the government. So when there's seas issues or things like that those rescues work specifically with the local government to go and take those animals in and try to adopt them out later. And then you see a lot of rescues that basically are just general horses. So they'll take any horse in any condition or whatever it might be. And what these rescues do, we've done a lot of work with a lot of these rescues. There's I don't want to start naming them because then I'm going to leave somebody out. Somebody's going to see this and be upset and be like, hey, you didn't name our rescue. So I don't want to start doing that. However, we've done a lot of work with these rescues, and what the majority of them do, I'm speaking in generalities here, is they will take in a horse, whether it is emaciated and was in a terrible situation, whether it was, an abuse case, whether it was a starvation case or whatever, and especially these ones from the government. These horses have been like called in from the general public, so these horses are typically in terrible, terrible situations. So whether it's that, whether it is a lot of rescues deal with people in the racehorse industry. So they have a horse run for a long time, and they can't run this horse anymore for a specific injury reason. They can't run this horse anymore for it's just really slow and they don't know what to do with it anymore. But those rescues will take these horses and they will try to retrain them for the general public. So they're going to take them in. They're going to take a trainer and retrain them. They're going to, if it's a emaciated situation, they're going to try to put weight on them, work on them medically for several months, and try to get them to where this horse is an acceptable body condition for the general person. And then there's a lot of situations, especially the racehorse situation, where they are taking in these horses and they find that they're not super useful for a lot of things, especially in the racehorse rehoming deal. These horses have, suspensory issues. They have, issues where they cannot, be of that much use to someone riding them. And in those situations, they are taking them in and kind of living on a prayer, so to speak, that they can rehome these horses and try to rehome them for pasture companions or for, like a therapy situation or whatever it might be. So these rescues do a bunch of different things, but just wanted to talk a little bit about that in the light of the ABC News articles that we recently saw on that. So a little bit more about the show. We're going to try to do a daily show, hopefully in the morning time, have like a somewhat kind of a morning show. And so we're going to try to keep this going for as long as possible. So if you work at a vet clinic, if you're a trainer, if you are from one of these rescues, maybe please reach out to us and send us, if you have something that you would like us to do a video about, if you have something that you would like us to, bring some light to a certain situation or whatever it might be. We, of course, do not want to get political or anything like that. So we don't want to do anything too risque, but we do want to continue to do local news around the Oklahoma City metro about animals. It doesn't always have to be about horses. It can be about dogs, cats. We saw an article about a hippo here today and almost did that, but I don't have a lot of knowledge about the hippo community, so we steered away from that. But if you have a article or a story that you would like us to do, we can do that on this daily show. We'll see how long it can last. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you made it to this far. If you did, good for you. Thank you and have a great day.